I've had a regular writing practice since I was a very young child, about 7 or 8 years old. I started writing in a diary, and I found that for me, the best way, the most effective way, and the most comfortable way for me to express myself was through writing. So it came very naturally to me to have a writing practice, but I understand that it's not that way for everyone. So I'd like to offer a few tips on how you can start a daily journaling practice. I have to say, for me, especially as I've gotten older, the number one way that I use journaling is for emotional and mental clarity. I am an overthinker and I'm a perfectionist, so I'm working on tempering that so that I can have better executive functioning. And one of the ways I do that, probably the primary way I do that, is through writing. I take my thoughts and I put them onto a piece of paper. I prefer doing it this way rather than typing on a computer, because for me, I find that taking the time to write with a physical pen and paper, it causes me or forces me to slow down. I type faster than I write, so oftentimes it becomes a cognitive dumping situation, which can be useful in other applications, but I prefer writing with a pen and paper. So I take my thoughts, which are inside my head, and I write them down physically, and in doing that, it brings it out literally and makes it concrete. So it takes the internal and makes it external. And this removes the vagueness or the cloudiness of the thoughts, especially intrusive thoughts or ruminating thoughts. So that's very helpful for me because it can give me something solid with which to work. I can look back at my journal in a week's time, 2 weeks' time, a month's time, and I can use that data to gather information. So that's extremely helpful because for me, I'm a serious adult who likes to work on themselves, self-improvement. And so I like to identify the flaws so that I can improve and work on them and learn about myself and how to grow. What I'm trying to say is I can gain extraordinary insight into my behavior, my emotions, my feelings, how I process or struggle processing emotions or feelings. And as someone who experiences very intense emotions, I can talk about that in another video. That's a separate topic. But to stay on topic, I can create a framework to solve my problems. So I use journaling as a learning tool for myself. And it's a fantastic way I have found to complement something I practice, which is self-guided DBT. And I can talk about that in more detail if there is interest about the type of therapy that I do and why I do it and so on. This requires time and commitment and personal effort, attention and focus, and most of all, consistency. My favorite word, right? It requires consistency. And if you want to adopt and maintain, and more importantly, probably most importantly, sustain any practice, be it yoga, fitness, skincare, eating well, journaling, meditation, any of these, self-growth in general, then look at it, please, as a personal investment. So the time and effort and energy you put into it will yield the results accordingly. And conversely, you cannot complain about the results that you don't get from the work that you don't put in. So small changes and continue watering that seed, and in the long run, your effort will pay off. I would start with writing about what you're experiencing. Ask yourself, what am I feeling right now? And be present in the moment. So when you're writing, ask yourself, what am I feeling right now? How do I feel? What am I acting upon? what are my reactions to such and such situation? What impulse caused me to react in X fashion? Things like this. So over time, answering these questions and writing them down, you will be able to reference your journal and see the patterns revealed in your thoughts and in your behaviors. And in doing this, you can identify the catalysts in certain situations. It will become something that you can address to help improve and help you also manage your emotions much more effectively. For instance, if you feel out of control about a certain situation, something specific, and get very specific, identify the areas in which you have influence but not full control, and things that are completely out of your control. This, even just writing these things down, it really helps decrease stress and anxiety immediately, I find. Just writing it down and getting it out. Another journaling practice I do quite often is I will write an alternate rendition of a situation. So for instance, if I'm ruminating on a thought or a series of thoughts or a narration in my head, which I often do, I will, and if it's causing me stress particularly, and it usually is, because it's usually a negative rumination. I'm not daydreaming about something positive and glorious, although I do that as well sometimes. But most of the time, I'm ruminating on something that's causing me negative emotions. So what I will do is I will journal about 2 or 3 imaginary, hypothetical, alternate realities according to that situation. And that's a very interesting exercise because it can do 2 things. It can help you potentially bring resolution to a situation, or it can help you be extremely appreciative for what is the objective reality of your life. It can help bring to the forefront gratitude. It can help you be grateful for the situation that you're in, and writing it down and making it very concrete and solid. It really brings, again, clarity. Write in detail about how you might feel differently if things were different. You might actually not feel that way. So this is a huge gift you can give yourself because it can bring acceptance and appreciation, and it can reveal the gratitude, not taking things for granted, and concentrating on what you do have rather than something that you may be lacking or imagining that you're lacking. There's a famous saying that's something like, if everyone, basically it's if everyone threw their problems into a pile and saw each other's, we would all grab our own problems back. So I think that's very wise. And sometimes just the simple act of bringing awareness to that which we do have, instead of thinking or ruminating on what ifs or shoulds, coulds, woulds, things like this, it can bring relief. And you've heard me speak about radical acceptance before, and patience, always patience, will take you far in life, I believe. So I would love to know if you, like me, are a journaler, if you are one who keeps a journal, and what do you journal about and how has it helped you? If you have any tips that you can offer in the comments down below, please write them in the comment section so that we can all learn from each other. That's what the comment section is for. And otherwise, I wish you good luck and stay well. I thank you as always for watching, and you shall see me soon.